Ugh, me use fire, cook food. Do this.
Getting tabled.
Getting table.
Getting tabled.
Getting tabled.
Getting table.
Getting table. Give the Bruce, the Yank, and Captain Socks.
Hello, future people, and Merry Christmas from the Bruce.
Merry Christmas, quite literally in my case.
Literally, it looks like Christmas threw up on his shirt.
Yeah.
And then ate it back up and threw it up again.
Yep.
I'm dropping pennies on the floor.
It's only a penny. Was it for your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I've got some pennies that are like over 100 years old floating around my house, so I don't know if it was one of those or not.
Well, given that we're literally doing this on Christmas Day, how about we break straight into the news?
Or Christmas Eve.
I said my Christmas Day.
It is still in my Eve. Yeah, let's get into this.
Newly received or noteworthy information, especially about recent or important events.
So, we're going to break straight into it. We're going to try and keep this one shorter. There is quite a bit going, but most of this is from a couple of different companies. Starting off today with a new preview for Wild West Exodus, which is definitely a game that George is not being tempted by every time we discuss it, even though he is, and we found out recently that he might be able to get some stuff really cheaply and should totally buy it. Anyway.
I hate you.
The Murder of Hellion Posse is a new posse for the Outlaws. Sorry, I had a mental blank there. And this is like everybody has mechanical wings. It's like all of the mechanical wings. There definitely appears to be
Except for like
outlaw there that was once one of the I'm completely forgetting what the native people's faction's called. The Warrior Nation. The one in the middle there is very clearly a Warrior Nation person that's turned to crime. I kind of like the half-dead zombie-looking guy that's like riding on half of a body. That's just all kinds of screwed up and creepy.
Yeah.
I know I say this every time they bring out a new box set, but my goodness, they do some really nice stuff. This is all going to be resin again. Most of their stuff has been lately, actually. I haven't seen them do a plastic kit for a while.
I wonder if plastic kit, because those are typically bigger machines and whatnot, if those are more difficult to operate right now.
It's probably got a little bit to do with some of the older plastic stuff was older sculpts too, potentially.
Yeah.
So in this box, you're getting 5 multi-part kits. You've got somebody called Kame, somebody called Whitewing, Vladimir Ursul is a name that I suspect is probably real. I don't know, I'm not a historian. There's 2 Apex Hellions and 5 bases, because, you know, bases are the important thing. Yeah, so this one's coming out right at the end of January. I just continue to love everything that they release. I haven't seen them do a bad sculpt of anything yet. I think the really creepy guy that's dragging half of the body around has got to be my favourite. Well, actually, maybe it's not half a body. I think I can see legs behind it. Hang on, let's bring up a bigger version of this picture for the people at home. Nope.
It looks like his trousers, at least.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he's been torn in half. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, that's just lovely.
Just lovely and creepy.
Yeah, no, this looks good. I still don't need this game, so we'll preface with that. I don't need this.
No, you don't need
I want it, but
you
I
definitely want it. Something else that I know that is probably higher on your temptation list, because both you and I have been waiting for this for about 1.5 years now. Dystopian
Are you talking
Wars.
about the Dystopian Wars?
Yeah. Didn't you have some old Dystopian War stuff?
No. I literally discovered Dystopian Wars and then was kicking around the idea of getting like, for the faction boxes, like, the sea, land, and air, like the starter faction box for like 4 factions.
Yeah.
So it's like have 4 factions, but the 3 armies. And then after discovering it, then, I think it was Spartan Games was just like, oh, we're closing up shop. We're done. We can't, everything's being, I believe the word they use is redundant or something like that. And
yeah.
I was
Halo killed them pretty much.
Yeah. That was the one thing that was just like, big name that you're like, oh, Halo. Well, that's a lot of licensing money right there.
Yeah. It did have an audience, but obviously it wasn't big enough. So, the Dystopian Wars 2-player starter set. This is the only thing that they have at this particular point in time. It is a plastic and resin kit, so they are still doing some plastic stuff. It looks like kind of similar to what you were saying a minute ago. It's the smaller ships that are the plastic ones. And there seems to be some bases that obviously represent something that's plastic. And it's the larger ships that are the resin ones. In this particular
Which makes sense because...
Yeah.
I said that makes sense because, there's going to be more of the smaller ships, so that's more of a mass production versus the larger ships, which are, it's the same reason why you buy a kit from TTcombat, well, I guess I haven't bought one for a while, but, the box was a plastic kit, but the individual ships were, resin.
Yeah. There is 2 fleets in the box, obviously, because it's a 2-player starter set. You have...
What?
2
fleets?
I know, right? They don't expect you to play with the same models. There's a Covenant of the Enlightened fleet, which is a 14-ship thingy, and a Commonwealth fleet, which is a 16-ship thingy. Definitely keen to check this out at a later stage. It does come with, like... This looks like paper terrain, icebergy type stuff.
I can't remember. I know the Commonwealth was the UK one. I can't remember what the other one was, though.
Well, the lore background has been changed to fit everything in together. This is supposed to be in the same universe as Wild West Exodus. The Enlightened is one of the main factions in the world that's kind of been controlling the alien substance that brought all the new technology in. Because this is like a weird world, Victorian era type thing.
Interesting.
So, the backgrounds are going to change. The old factions are still completely playable. But new stuff that will be coming out will be... Like, everything is like reassigned, if that makes sense. Cause
that does, yeah.
They've combined the two. That's why there's been changes in the background to Wild West Exodus to some extent as well. Not quite as drastic, but...
Yeah, because I remember it was like, I think I remember like the Commonwealth, which, that's actually still a word thrown around with the British Empire. And it was the Confederate States of America or something like that. It wasn't United. It was like, it was some other, States of America kind of thing.
Mm. So if you're keen on getting some naval battles and you like your weird World War type stuff, Hunt for the Prometheus is your 2-player starter set, and again this is coming out at the end of January. 35 days. So I think that's actually 1st of February.
Yeah, so but if they continue, then there's going to be like an air aspect and a ground aspect too. If they continue to what it was before.
Yeah, that is the plan.
So
no Captain Socks today, but we are still going to discuss a couple of Star Wars things. This was revealed by Fantasy Flight Games last week. We've got a new Lando Calrissian. This is stuff that had been leaked unofficially a little while ago, but this is the first time we're being officially told what it is. So there's Lando Calrissian. So if you'd like to play someone that will stab your friends in the back, this is who you want to... No. Actually, there's rules associated with this character to actually include that in the game.
It's funny because I actually just recently rewatched Solo again, and I have to. Donald Glover did such a great job portraying Lando Calrissian.
Solo is a better movie than people have made out it is. I understand, because the problem wasn't Solo, the problem was what came before it. And Solo just basically got ignored because people were tired of it.
Yeah.
This one can build one of 3 different things. The biggest difference between them is the cape changes sizes.
No capes.
No capes. Again, I'm not a Star Wars player, but there's rules in the game to represent the betrayal in Cloud City, where you can give your opponent cards to kind of mess them up somehow. The other character has a similar idea, because the other character is Agent Callus, which is from one of the cartoons. I don't remember which one. Clone Wars, probably.
If I remember correctly, isn't he the Mandalorian guy, the Mandalorian guard, but not Mandalore, not a Mandalorian?
Well, he's someone that started in the Imperium and ends up going to the Resistance later. That's the only thing I know.
Oh, okay.
Because it's
looking at the middle sculpt, I thought, okay, no, I'm seeing the badging. Yeah, I was thinking that maybe he was one of the Mandalore guards, but not an actual Mandalorian.
No, he's somebody else again.
Yeah, no.
So they both have kind of betrayal mechanics worked into their rules, where it's something to do with you can give your opponent the cards to screw with them somehow. They both work slightly differently, but I kind of like the way that they're working that in. It's going to mean a lot more to those that are familiar with the character from the show that he's from. I'm not 100% sure which it is. It's Clone Wars or whatever the other one was. It's one of them anyway.
I think Clone Wars, because I think that's got the other one. I really didn't watch a lot of, but Clone Wars had a lot of really good content as far as story wise, as far as building the characters. I mean, why else are so people irritated and yet excited that Ahsoka Tano showed up here recently?
Yes, yeah, so
it's been long enough, right?
Season 2. I've had everything ruined for me at this point, unfortunately.
Oh God, I am so sorry, Bruce.
That was in the trailer for Season 2. You're not ruining anything there.
Okay, well,
stay off the internet if you don't know what happens in the last episode.
I know what happens in the last episode because I've watched it twice already.
So, in theory, these should be the first things we see for Star Wars Legion that will officially have atomic mass games on them. They should be the first releases under the new regime.
Fantasy Flight?
No, because Fantasy Flight have handed the license over to another arm in the company.
I think that's funny that you use the word regime when we're talking about the Empire and
that was deliberate.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Next.
Now, following on from our last episode where we discussed a few things from the Advent calendar, later in the day, on day 14, TTcombat revealed that the Dropfleet Commander rules are now available as a free download from the website. So if you would
just the rules.
Just the rules, yes. So for those of us, two of which are in this conversation that have been shouting for a very long time that they need a digital copy of the rule set, you can now get just the basic rules from the website for free.
Yeah. This is no unit stats or any of that. It is just the core rules to play the game. You'll still need to get but yeah, so you can sit down.
All of the core stats are available through the builder anyway. So between that and the builder, you can get all of it. There's no lore background there.
Oh, well, the last time I tried to access the builder, it was like, no, I'm not going to work.
I haven't really played with the builder for a bit because obviously with things being the way they are, I haven't really had a chance to do any games. But
yeah, well, there was an issue with the page coding, and I could not access anything. It was quite annoying.
If the next time you log on, you are still having an issue with that, make note of what it is because I know who to contact to pass that on. As does
Perfect.
Michelle.
Yeah.
On
right.
day 15, we move back into Scenics with some more MDF kits.
And I like this because this is very much a kit that you throw on the table.
Yeah.
And you go.
Like this is specifically for drop zone commander. This is your smaller size, but this is all.
So this is a 10mm scale.
Yep. This is Sci-Fi X is basically it's the drop zone.
Yeah.
Scale, but it's all military bunkers and factory looking stuff, and it's all because everything else up until now has been like city buildings, and I kind of like the fact that we're getting the other side of what you expect to find in cities. It's not all buildings and banks and hotels and stuff.
Right.
And some of these actually have rule sets with them. So the walkways have a rule set about how long they're supposed to be, and that'll be coming next year. Day 16 from memory is Drop Zone again.
No, it's Flight Wing Commander.
Yes, I was getting to that. So yeah, Drop Zone. One of the team, which is Chris, has been working on a dogfighting air versus air game that works with the Drop Zone models. Apparently it's really, really good. The rule set is available basically to download now. You've got the full set of rules and the cards, because they will all have their own individual stats to work with that version of the rule set, are all available from the TTcombat website or just the Drop Zone Commander website as well. That one was probably the most left of centre thing they've done this year, at least anyway. I just did not see that coming. Rumble Slam came up next, and we have an Amazonian thing as well as table, ladders, and chests. People that are fans of wrestling will know what the chests is supposed to be in the real world, but that's a copyrighted term, so they're using chests instead of chairs. It does come with some chairs though. Look, there's a chair right there, and a ladder, and a table. Oh my! George might know that reference, but wrestling fans will. It comes with a mimic too.
This mimics a lot of things. I'm going to go back half a second. So Flight Wing Commander, that's all cool and everything.
Yep.
I'm still extremely disappointed there's still no Drop Squad Commander yet.
I have a feeling that's not as far away as we think it might be. I don't know anything, but they're getting to the point where
still have
the last
audio
of the things they were...
Yeah. I still have the audio file from how many years ago where we coined that, and Nigel asked Dave about that. Dave's like, no comment.
Yeah. But they needed to get everything back in stock and everything working.
Oh, yeah, no,
part of that will be coming later. So I suspect this is the point where they'll start expanding stuff again. So yeah, this is basically a way of doing hardcore matches and different types of matches within Rumble Slam. There is a hero down the bottom here somewhere. Oh no, it was background. A background with like Amazonian
Where's the cage
and stuff. They haven't done a cage yet. I have seen people make cages. You can also have.
If you're gonna have chairs, you gotta have cages.
True. Day
Ooh.
18 is back into Carnivale, another one that you love the models for, but we've got more digital rule sets, this time for Carnivale. So in theory, for all of those models that I have lying around from the original version of this game, I could now get the rules so that I know how to use them. Every time they've done one of these, by the way, there's been really gorgeous looking backgrounds. This one, there's one down the bottom that actually shows like the rift in space that's come up over Venice.
Oh yeah.
And I'm probably going to put that as my background at some point soon, because I really like that.
That looks really nifty. Next, this is what I was actually really truly excited for, because this is how all this crap started for me.
Yeah.
We get new battle cruisers for Drop Fleet.
Yeah, finally. And I'm just going to call it now. The Scourge win the beauty contest again. They seem to win the beauty contest almost every time now. That might be my personal bias, though. I like the fact that it's kind of reminiscent of the other battle cruisers.
Well, yeah. It's hard to for me, it's hard to judge with it when it's just still a 3D rendering.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Instead of an actual model. I do like the slight change they did with the Sheltari. Instead of 4, it's 3.
Yep.
So
the rule set for the Resistance one is still in early stages, but they're saying that it's actually going to be a repair ship. I kind of like that, because that actually changes things significantly. Nobody else has that sort of mechanic. And it looks
that
like
could be really interesting.
We're getting new command cards again as well. Apparently they ran out of they ran out of them a while ago, and they've kind of taken the chance to update the way they look with the new artwork and stuff. I really like the new artwork.
It's just new artwork, not a new actual set of cards.
No, same cards, just new artwork. I do think they look a million times better. Still on TTcombat. We're not quite to the end of TTcombat yet. Day 22.
Yeah, we gotta go through the Alvin calendar.
Yep. Is hobby accessories. This is kind of... It hadn't actually occurred to me that they didn't have anything like this. I guess because I wasn't looking for them. They've got their own line of brushes coming in. So they're showing off kind of like the dry brushes and stuff here. Both types, because people have preferences.
And the one thing that's really caught my eye is the stippling brushes they're showing off.
Yep.
Like the brush is designed to fit in your hand like this, so you can go like that a lot easier instead of holding a brush normally and try to stifle with it.
Yeah.
Stipple. Bash it against your model.
That too. So yeah, that'll be coming at some point next year. They will actually have all 3 types of brushes, so you'll have your regular army stuff. They're calling it army, showcase, and scenery. So they're not showing off the actual army ones with the round tips and stuff yet, but they obviously are coming.
It's too bad we couldn't get our hands on some of those early to let them know if they're crap or not.
Maybe somebody will listen and give us a chance.
No, I'm kidding.
Day 23 is my favourite day of this entire calendar. Last year's Advent calendar gave us teasers of the behemoths, but the only one that we had seen from memory was a PHR one. I think.
It was PHR, and I think just a fauna one in general. I don't...
everything else was like bits of the things without having seen them. But then they kind of put everything on hold until everything else was in stock and that. And I have a new favourite drop zone model. This is just amazing. Like without this is my favorite drop zone model they've ever made. And then
if you go down to the bottom where they've got the other in existence Scourge models, like this is how big it is.
Oh yeah!
Holy smokes, that is
huge. It's
huge.
It's like this big. Because that despoiler is like that ish. So this thing's massive. I love you've got these living cables that are kind of moving and wrapping around. And for those of you that are listening to the audio version of this and not looking at the pictures, trust me when I say you want to go to the TT community website and look at this, or jump across and have a look at the video version when it goes live. You need to see this model. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, go to the video version and I already jumped ahead. But yeah, no, that Scourge Behemoth looks amazing.
Yeah.
And next,
the last one
finally
was the Rumble Slam is back again. And yeah, we've got kind of Thundercats. So I'm going to call these...
But not Thundercats, because that's trademarked.
Yes. I'm going to call these Rakashas. What, did they actually say what they are? No. They're from the Pyramid Pile Drivers again. But yeah, they're cat people. So you've got a panther that just looks like they're going to beat all of the everybody's. The tiger looks awesome. And there's this hideous monster cat with like 3 million eyes on it. Tabaxi, yeah, so they're taking Orkajit, I guess. That's a nice callback.
Where's Joe Exotic or Carol Baskin?
Don't know, don't care. Oh, I didn't realise. I thought that was actually part of the other one. The Puma is not a car. It's a very small cat that's... Oh, wait, hang on. The Puma is that guy. And there's a cat that's on a flying rug.
Yeah,
which I thought was part of the monster,
that was just part of the artwork.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how large this cat monster is.
So you have the cheetah, the tiger, the panther, the cosmic one, and then you have the little statue.
Yep.
On the flying carpet. So I get 5. Well, and then the brazier is part of the flying carpet too. Or was... Yeah, the brazier's pictured with the flying carpet as well.
Yeah.
So, again, very neat stuff. This just looks like conceptual art still at this point. They're not showing any resin minis yet. So...
Yes, no, they're just artwork on this, but that's perfectly fine. The one with the carpet, the teaser on this, you might have noticed by now that there are only 4 cats in this picture above. Well, this team is a little different. So, there's obviously more going on about this team than appears. Maybe this is not a wrestler. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this works. Because there's the Tabaxi wrestling cat people, and then there's actually just normal cats as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that actually works. But yeah, so that's TTcombat. Have had a very busy couple of weeks, as opposed to Games Workshop that have been kind of very quietish.
Well, and this has been a thing that TTcombat's been doing for the last 3 or 4 years now.
At least the last 3, yeah. They kind of...
And I think...
They've just done it on business days this year because of everything.
Yeah. But I think it's something that the fan base looks forward to. Like, where's all the new stuff that's going to come out next year? Yeah. And I think this is a great way to spoil it and show it off and, get people hyped up for next year.
There's been a couple of other companies I've noticed that have kind of stolen this idea for themselves too. Although every idea is stolen, I guess. But TTcombat,
there are no more
the first ones to do it in this particular space. But I could be wrong on that.
Yeah. Well, they're the first ones still in business. I mean, there could have been like another company that's gone the way of, you know, Spartan and who knows however many other companies.
Yeah. So moving on from TTcombat, we have the other side of the Masters of the Universe conversation, finally giving us a look at their board game. For those that are maybe seeing us for the first time, we originally had a conversation midway through last
8
year
months
at some
ago?
point about how we reckon there's all these franchises from the 80s that would work really good on the tabletop. And I had said,
Yep.
I think He-Man would make a really good skirmish game. And it was about 3 months after that Simon, which is who we're talking about now, announced that they were making one. We are not claiming that we made it up. That it's just coincidence. They were obviously working on it beforehand. Simon are going to be doing theirs everywhere except for Europe. And there was a huge question about why that was going on for a while. We now know that it's because Archon already had the rights in Europe. So we will be getting 2 He-Man games in a very short space of each other at some point next year. But we're actually finally getting a preview. So on the Simon website, there is a developer diary. It says episode 1, so this will be continued further. They have not revealed the name of the game yet. It's still just referred to as He-Man, Masters of the Universe, the board game.
Which, I mean, that's a pretty good working title because I mean, you know what it is.
I can't remember what the Archon one's called. I think it's Fields of Eternia. It's something like that. I don't remember the exact name. And we have a preview of, well, the upper part of He-Man anyway. Doing his I have the power pose. Pretty keen to paint that.
So
That's all we know.
I'm going to come out and say this, having followed the progress of the Ankh board game that I backed, and then the Cthulhu Death May Die game that I currently have, and the minis in that. I am really looking forward to see what Simon can do with the Masters of the Universe, putting them into minis.
This one definitely feels like it's replicating the toys a lot more than the Archon one does. Because the Archon one feels like they're more real-life versions of it. I mean, they still look like He-Man, etc. But this very much looks like the oversized 80s toys that are like unrealistically proportioned and stuff. Which, I mean, He-Man is unrealistically proportioned anyway. But
you should go check out the Netflix hub.
Netflix hub?
Yeah. You should go check out the Netflix show, The Toys That Made Us, and one of them is about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Oh, yeah.
Good watch.
Yep. But this is showing us that there is going to be a very different art style between the 2 board games, which they were going to have to do anyway. But it's good to see that there is actually a distinctual different view, and that they don't just look like they're copying each other. Not that I was ever saying that they were copying each other, but it is an accusation that could be thrown around very, very easily if their art style ended up looking very similar.
I like what they're showing here and the direction they're going as far as, you know, they're staying true to what we grew up with.
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that one. I've been following this one for a while and excited by this idea for a while. I'm still not eliminating the chance that I might pick this up, despite my opinions on the company involved. It's just going to be... It'll depend on what it ends up looking like when it comes out. I would prefer that we got a skirmish game at some point, but this is a nice start. And if this goes well, they'd be silly not... Well, Simon would not be the company to make a skirmish game. But the fact that we're getting 2 board games that are both coming out around the time when the new show starts, I still think it would make for a really good tabletop game, like a proper one.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like infinity scale.
Yeah. Otherwise, let's move on and discuss some indies.
Which I've not made the bumper for yet. I'm
Then I
still
won't pause
working
for
on that.
All right.
The Magnet Baron.
Yeah. So this
Who has
is
the audacity to call himself the Magnet Baron?
Well, their logo is literally a magnet that is a hat with a guy with an evil-looking mustache.
So I think I see what they're doing here.
So they're creating magnet... Well, I mean, most of this is magnet flight stands. There is more to it than just that. I came across these guys randomly in a video that was being sponsored by... I don't even remember who it was. It was one of the wargaming channels, but... And I was like, ooh, I really like this. Okay, so... Ooh, I need to get rid of that. Okay. So for those that are watching the video version of this, what we have here is a regular base. There is one magnet that is glued down onto the base. Another one that is glued to the flight stand. This is a flight stand that they will supply you with. There's then another magnet at the top of that, and then a magnet at the bottom of your mini. So the idea is that if you have an item that is like this big, trying to store them and have the flight stands not break, especially on the smaller models, is nigh and impossible sometimes. So you get to literally just remove it.
Games Workshop. Yeah.
You literally get to just remove the flight stand and it all works fairly seamlessly. They've even got some where there's a ball bearing so you can actually pose the mini as well. I kind of really like that idea. Flight stands have always been a bit of a pain. I mean, there's something that you need. The other thing that some of these kits come with is a rock that kind of hides the magnet on the base so that it looks more natural. If you don't want to, work around it.
Can we talk about how the fact that they're doing a mega large Marauder Thunderhawk flat magnetic flight stand with rock anchor?
Oh yeah.
That's I mean, there's that one that we talked about where they sell the magnets and bases as a kit to where this magnet will fit on this base. It's a perfect fit. You're done.
The rod that you're looking at, that's an inch in diameter.
Yeah. So going back,
the rod is this thick.
Going back to the what is it? The very late 90s. I think 98.
Yeah.
When I first picked up my 3rd edition box of Warhammer. And I was so excited to get that land speeder put together, and I put it on its flight stand, and then within a week it broke.
Yeah, which is fairly common. I mean, this is not the first time I've seen somebody magnetize flight stands, but usually what I've seen in the past is people have done the flight stand normal with a magnet on top, and then like this just comes off, where this comes apart entirely.
Yeah, it's like
the rods are thicker, which means they won't snap as easily.
With the exception of TTcombat's Hawk War Games flight stands, which replace all your Games Workshops. Those are pretty rigid flight stands, way better than any of the stuff Games Workshop has done.
Captain Socks, if you're watching this after the fact, they've got one for X-Wing. I don't know if you have X-Wing, but they have it for X-Wing as well. Just because he's not here, so I can't show him in person.
Yeah, right. Star Wars games.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. There it is. Well, and in turn with that, because I do know someone. It's the Star Trek version of Flight Wing, or X-Wing. Can't remember what it's called.
Battlewing. That's actually the one that...
Yeah.
It's the one that came first, actually. It's just X-Wing took off, and that one kind of just pitted and sat there. It certainly hasn't taken off in the same way that the other ones did.
Yeah. I think magnetizing stuff is not the hardest thing. I mean, you can go on Amazon, order magnets, but for a company or a person to sit down and be like, here's this is all you need, and it's done.
The convenience
it simplifies. Yeah, the convenience factor. I bought a thing of magnets off of Amazon, and it was about $3 more for fewer magnets than some other magnets.
Yeah.
The selling point for me, it came with the exact size drill bit to drill the holes.
Yeah.
And then I'm not having to dig through all of my drill bits to like, is this one gonna... No, I have the drill bit that's the right size that fits in the blister pack that can live there with the magnets.
Yeah. The other thing on that side of things is, I mean, you can buy extruded acrylic rod, but you usually have to buy it in meter lengths, or I don't know about in the US, but I'm assuming it would be like
probably
3 foot lengths or something.
Yeah.
Which means that you would then have to find a way of safely cutting it to size, and safely is going to be the big part there. I mean, you could take to it with your hobby saw, but that's just going to be a pain. Trust, I'd actually genuinely considered doing this after looking at this website, and then I was just like, that's going to be a real pain. Because cutting through acrylic is a horrible thing.
Well, and for me, that's not so much an issue because, well, I've got a table saw.
Oh, I don't.
I have the space for a table saw, so I have a table saw. You don't, so it is a problem for you. It's not, it solves a problem for everyone of, you need a 3-inch acrylic rod. Here's a 3-inch acrylic rod. Oh, also, here's magnets to glue on either end of it to the model and the base, and you're done.
It's possible I could approach somebody with a laser cutter. I don't own one, but there is a local company that have them. Easy it is to cut through an acrylic rod that thick. Not that I want the inch thick one, but it wouldn't exactly be easy work. But
you know what I would do with a meter long, inch thick acrylic rod?
Throw it at someone, hit them over the head.
I drill a hole in it and make like a little handle with an light and make a lightsaber with it and actually like bash people with it because it's an inch thick acrylic rod and that's not going to break.
That's actually a really cool idea.
What, the lightsaber or just bashing someone with it?
The lightsaber. Because we're here at Christmas. What does every male or female that has an empty wrapping paper tube always do? It becomes a sword before it goes in the bin. Every time. Well, of a certain age group, anyway.
It
is what happens.
On that topic, Bruce. Well, so I've started clearing out my kitchen for the remodel, and I'm getting stuff coming in, and my backsplash tile, the trim pieces showed up.
Yeah.
In an 8-foot long cardboard tube that is 2.5 inches in diameter, and the wall is a 1/4 inch thick.
Fun.
So, like, we're talking like dog toy, like rigidity here.
Yeah. That's it as far as the news is concerned and the indie stuff, though. Shall we move into some hobby?
Some hobby?
Maybe.
Stream.
There we go.
Look. Rhyme. Paint.
So
the button was not working.
Hobby-wise, what have you been up to, George? I know some of what you've been up to, but because you were playing around with a camera that's now being returned because it was horrible.
Well, it wasn't horrible. It didn't serve the purpose of the intent of getting it. Like, it didn't make things easier. Why mess with something if it's not going to make it easier?
It also doesn't really do what it was advertised without making
It
things
wasn't
difficult.
doing what I right or impossible at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually responded with an email like, "Oh, well, did you try QuickTime?" No, I own Macs, and of course I didn't try QuickTime. Yes, I tried QuickTime. God.
That and it has an external mic, which obviously is the feature that we were interested in, but
Yep.
it won't export the audio unless you do it through your phone, and if you do it through your phone, you can only do it at a certain resolution and not at the resolution that it was advertised at. Like,
Right.
it's just... The thing that I find confusing about that is making that difficult requires work. Like, that is a limitation that you have to work to put there.
I mean, if you're recording it and you have a video file and it has audio in it, to export it and have the audio you have to do something in order for that to not work, or you have to do a budget job of.
This was a budget product that. I mean, budget products always have annoying features, but that is one that they've actually. They have to have done work to make it do that way. It's not going to do it that way itself.
I'd call it mid-range. I wouldn't call it 100% budget. I'd call it mid-range.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because there were some I found that were significantly cheaper.
Well, yes, and I'm glad that you didn't get those.
Yeah, because I would have returned it sooner. That being said, I did get this in the mail today, like literally today, like 4 hours before we recorded this. Is that backwards?
No, it's the right way around. I'm massively jealous, by the way. Mine is not here yet.
Okay, so as a lot of people in the community have been seeing, it's been shipping with a resin mel, which that's a cool little touch. Now, I feel so bad for the people. Like, there's been people posting pictures where like the corner of the book has just been absolutely mangled. Like, someone just went and dropped it on the corner of the box, and the corner is just mangled.
Which is because of the current health situation. The postal services are just not doing their job properly.
Well, here, let me show you something real quick, too.
While he's grabbing whatever it is that he's grabbing, the issue with postal services is because they are so overworked at the moment, everything is being rushed.
Okay. So, Bruce, also, here's the box it came in.
Yep.
That's it.
That's not going to help, yeah.
There's nothing in here but the book.
That's really flimsy cardboard, so...
And the mini. That was it. So, there was no actual padding. So, the distress that people have of the book, the corner's been crushed and everything, it's like, I can really feel for you. I'm sitting here like, I don't know if I can get zoomed in on. Right there above my finger is a dent in the cover from the resin mini that was shipped with it. So, that being said, without really, I still work today. So I worked today. I had to sit here at my computer and fix stuff as it came through.
Yeah.
The quality of the photos is good. Like I said, I haven't had too much looking through it. The one thing he does go through and talk about color palette stuff.
Nice.
Which
that was one of the unlocked things.
Simple as that. Yeah, as simple as that is, for some of us, some people it's really difficult for, like the learning about colors. If you want something to really stand out and pop, use colors at contrast because they contrast.
Yeah.
If you want to, create, depth, you want, how to do that. And that one app I found that, pretty much you were sold on, JP got sold on, helps a lot with that because, you can put, I'm using this color. Oh, well, you want this, I I don't know. I'm not going to have a chance to sit down and go through this book in depth for probably quite a while because as of 5 o'clock today, I started my vacation, and so I'm going to be remodeling my kitchen. So that's why we're doing this tonight. So
Yeah.
am I going to have any hobby? No, I am not going to have any hobby. Yeah. I don't. About the only thing I'm possibly going to do is when the sun comes up for Christmas break and stuff like that. He is getting a copy of Pandemic.
Yep.
He is a huge fan of the Forbidden series. Well, the Forbidden series was created by Matt Leibcock, and his first game was Pandemic. And what better game to have than a game about a pandemic during a pandemic?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I've got some more stuff I am working on. I'm not going to talk about it because it's something I'm forcing myself to do, but it's something I want to do to do better things for all of you. So
it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. Now, I have had some hobby. George is not able to see what I'm showing on video right now. But for those of you that are watching the video version of this is a live feed. Oh, yes, that was the injury that I had. For those that are wondering too. So, I made a pledge about, 4, maybe 5 months ago now, that I was going to paint 63 minis that I accidentally turned into 66 because I added things to it for some stupid reason. I finished this Stormfiend this week. So that is, the Stormfiends are completely finished until I build the new ones. The only thing I have realised... His straps
this is the stuff you've already shared with us. And,
yes, you've seen pictures of it. I'm actually
okay.
showing video footage of them live, but you can't see. This is my custom-built Claw Lord. I don't remember what he was originally holding in this hand, but it broke, and now it's... This was originally on the back of something. Oh, this was on his back, and I've now got him holding it in like a gun type thing, because I thought that looked cool. I've got another guy here. The only thing left on this guy to do is the warp stone there and the power sword. I've deliberately left those at this point. And the Warlock Bombardier. Now, those that have been following my Skaven thing for a little while will know that I said that I've been leaving this blue all clean deliberately until I decided what I was going to do with it. I am definitely going to be muddying this up. And it's definitely going to be getting washed at some point. But I'm going to wait till they're closer to being done. Let's get you a little bit closer in to the clan rats.
And I know I've said it before and I mentioned in the chat, but that blue you picked is just absolutely amazing with the color of the rats you're doing. I'm
really happy with how it turned out. This is the same blue that I was using on my Marvel stuff.
It's really close to the blue I was using on my Blood Bowl, I think.
Yep. So yeah, everything's all washed up and dirty and grimy, and they're still walking through something that you don't want to be walking through. But they're rats, they don't care. Like,
I mean,
it definitely looks like it's not dirt. It's not gross to the point where looking at it's going to make you throw up, but it definitely looks filthy, which is what I was going for.
Is it poo?
It might be. I just wanted it to look like it was grime. That I'm using on my bases, for anybody that is wondering, is thick mud. It's an acrylic paint by Vallejo. It's one of their terrain diorama effects ones. It's very thick, much like the G-Dub texture paints. I definitely have found it easier to work with. I would definitely recommend it if that's the sort of look that you have, that you're after. They do like a... Well, no, they do a like a desert one and a snow one and that sort of stuff as well. So there's different ones that you can get. A lot of people...
Yeah, but you said they
I know.
do, so...
I know. I was ignoring you.
I'm not going to let you ignore me. I am the elephant in the room, Bruce.
That is true. You definitely are something in the room. In my little teaser that I posted last night, I had initially said that I only had 10 left, because what I didn't realise is that I had added more to the number, hence why my earlier comment of I've added more to it than I had originally, and it's like 13 or something that's left now. But I'm kind of hoping that I might actually be done with this pledge before the end of the year. I was going to try and do some painting this afternoon, but I didn't sleep very well, so I've got a massive hangover too. But otherwise, hobby-wise, that's significantly more hobby that I've done in a while. I didn't even really realise how burnt out I was from work until I was forced to take time off. I actually injured
you
myself.
Get what I was
doing
saying
the
a
dishes.
few months ago. Yeah, you get what I was saying though about even just doing this though somewhat. I was just going through the motions.
Oh yeah, very much so. I've been there for a while.
Yeah. So.
We do not have a game talk thing this week. Given that last episode's was rather heavy and that it's Christmas Day, I've decided to leave that at this point. No upcoming events that I know of, but is there anything else you wanted to bring up before we head off, George?
No, I'm just, I want to play games.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do all the stuff back there. I want to sit down and play games. And I mean, even in my, a little bit of a political insight here, my very red state with my very not blue county that I, not red county I live in, it's still very just, I want to be able to go hang out with people and play games again.
Yeah, I definitely miss that. Look, at this stage, try to be as safe as you can be. For people that are isolated and unable to see family during this season, regardless of how it is that you would normally do so, try to do things digitally or get the support you need so that you're not by yourself. Otherwise, for those of you that like our content, please do share it around. If you're in a position where you can support us, Patreon is only $2 a month. That's literally the only thing that it'll cost you. I mean, you have the option of giving more, but that will give you access to the video version of... Well, it'll give you access to the video version of this podcast on the day that the episode is launched. As opposed to normally you will have to wait 5 or 6 days till the following weekend. Social media wise, Facebook is the best place to find us. Facebook.com/gettingtabled. It is the most active social media source we have. The website is gettingtabled.weebly.com. Our email address is gettingtabled@gmail.com. And everything else is at Getting Tabled. I think that's it.
Just I'm going to do this real quick. I'm just going to do this real quick. It's probably going to be skewed because it's on my computer.
Okay.
But what happened? Oh, hey, look at that. Getting Tabled, you get our Facebook page. I mean, just Google us.
Google you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For listening to Getting Tabled. Music used in this podcast was created by Eric Matthias at soundimage.org.